What's up guys, JV2017 here, bringing another Destiny tips and tricks video. And today, November 17th, Bungie released update 1.0.3, which I believe is their second or third major title update since Destiny's release. I mean, it would make sense if it was their third, but I think I only remember one more before this one that was, significant. So, this one has a ridiculous amount of changes. There are literally so many, there's like 50, it's impossible to cover them in one video, all of them. So because there are so many, we're going to talk about the 10 biggest changes that I thought were the biggest changes in this video. And as always, if you would like to read the full update notes for yourself, which I recommend since this is a huge update, check out the link in the description below to those notes. So, the first thing I noticed, it was kind of weird, I didn't notice this before, the tower has a lot of visual changes. I feel like the vegetation is something new and the walls seem lower to me. I don't know if I'm crazy, off my rocker, insane, I don't know, but it seems different. I don't know what it is. So, the first thing that Bungie talks about in their update is kind of a preface to what this update is. It's the first in a series of updates that we're going to get to prepare for the Dark Below expansion, which comes out on December 9th, which is only about 3 weeks away, which is, approaching pretty quickly here. So the first big thing they made, the big change, is voice. So they added a new team chat feature, so you can actually talk with people in game chat, that you matchmake with in Strikes and in the Crucible. So before you couldn't do that. The only method of talking to people was on an Xbox Live party or a PlayStation party. I don't know what that's called, but that was the only way to talk to people. And so now you can talk to people that you matchmake with. And I believe the controls for that, I have them on the screen here now, are right to toggle Strike team chat and left to toggle Fire team. So Fire team, I think that refers to if you're in the Crucible, you're going to talk to your Fire team. So that's a cool change. I'm glad they added it. Next up is with difficulty. So they scaled down difficulty if you're tackling something that requires, 3 players and you only have 2. So if you're doing a 3-player strike and you only have 2 people in your fire team, it's going to be easier now. It wasn't that way before. I thought it was. It's kind of weird. Thought it was that way before the update, but now it is clearly easier if you have less than 3 players for a strike. Next up, they talked a lot about the Iron Banner 2.0, which, I kind of make a big video about that already, explaining the changes in that, but I'm going to give you guys a rough overview in case you missed it. There's a level 20 requirement to participate. However, if you're lower than level 20, you can join another level 20 Spire team to participate in the Iron Banner. They increased the ranks of reputation from 3 to 5, and they will reset after this next Iron Banner event. They added a tempered XP buff, which kind of benefits people that can't play the Iron Banner the entire time that it's active. And they also added the reforging feature that allows you to reroll stats on items earned in the Iron Banner. So, next thing they changed is public events. They occur 10 to 15% more frequently in all public spaces. So everywhere where a public event is possible, it'll happen 10 to 15% more often. So that's kind of cool. And, that's an interesting change. I like it. Next up is the bounty slots. So you guys know that at first when the game launched and before this update, we only had 5 bounty slots, and it kind of seemed silly because it would increase the amount of times we'd have to return to the tower to just do, BS, to turn in bounties and get more, turn in bounties. We have to do that over and over. Now we're going to be doing that less and less because of the increased slots. I don't know why they didn't increase it to 12, because we get 6 bounties of each category every single day, and there's 2 categories, so that would make it 12. So I don't know why they didn't make it 12 slots, but never know. They might increase it in the future because that makes more sense to me. Next up, they changed shaders and emblems. There are new shaders being sold at the tower by the Guardian Outfitter, and you can actually preview shaders and emblems now. So if you scroll over the emblems, it'll show you your gamer tag, your light, your grimoire score, all of that. And also you can scroll over the shaders, click Y, just like you would with armor, and see what the shader would look like before you buy it, it just seems like that should have been in the game in the first place, so I'm glad they added it as well. Next up, let's talk about PvP a bit. So they increased, the likelihood that you will join in progress or someone will join in progress on your team. So that's kind of, I guess, a negative if you don't like joining games in progress that you're already losing, but it's a positive for people that have, teammates that just leave games in the middle and have no chance of winning that game. So I think that's a welcome change. They also increased what they call better matchups in matchmaking. So if you have a team of 5 and you're trying to go into the Crucible, they'll try to match you with a team of 5 instead of matching you with, 5 Randys. So that's I don't know. It's kind of not that great for people that like to absolutely destroy, but it's definitely much more fair for everyone. Next up, they did a ton of map balancing and exploit fixing across every single map. There's so many changes, I can't even list them in this video. So again, if you'd like to check them out individually, link in the description below. Next up, they did some HUD improvements, improved visual indicators and visibility, some icons, some grenade recharge, visuals. They made a lot of changes in that department. And the final kind of grouping of changes that they made were with, icons. And that's, I guess, some more visual changes. But in the roster screen where you can check who's in your fire team, they added a network connection indicator, which is a little bar on the side. It'll show you who has a good connection and who doesn't, as well as a voice problem indicator. In case someone's having, some issues with their mic, it'll tell you. And they also updated a ton of gear, material, and skill icons. So in terms of gear, I only had 1 or 2 pieces that changed. I had actually both of them were helmets, and the big one was my exotic insurmountable skull fort, which didn't look at all what it actually looked like on my character. The icon didn't, but they updated it. Now it looks exactly the same. And some other things they changed, I think, were the sunbreakers. That's one that jumps out at me that probably a lot of you have. And they also changed materials, like I said. So spin metal, helium filaments, relic iron, spirit bloom, all those have new updated visuals that look a lot more realistic and look like they should look. So anyways, guys, that was a ton of information. I want to know, are you satisfied with this update? And also, what would you like to see in future updates? I would say this is a pretty nice update. They fixed a lot of, small issues, but it's important to fix those small issues or else they keep bugging everyone and they turn into big issues. And for me, I would like to see matchmaking for the Vault of Glass. I think that would be a much needed, or raids in general would be a nice addition, as well as a bunch of fixes for the Vault of Glass, like audio issues. Sometimes the audio cuts out, and I don't even know if the game is supposed to end because currently it doesn't end like any other activity that you do in the game. So I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's intended. We don't know. I'd like to at least hear from Bungie what they, what that's supposed to be. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something new, remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to my channel for more Destiny tips and tricks content coming very soon. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.